Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Loesch-Johnson, and I'm president of the Codman Square Neighborhood Council. Can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up. Excellent. Welcome to the Codman Square Neighborhood Council's monthly community meeting. This will be our last meeting via Zoom. Starting in January, we will return to in-person meetings. There's a huge push to make sure those meetings still have like a hybrid element, so we will still have a Zoom option for those that are still not comfortable meeting in person, but our January meeting will be in person. So stay tuned and be ready to see everyone in the new year. I'm really excited for that. Here at the Codman Square Neighborhood Council, our virtual meetings are recorded and then posted on YouTube. So after this meeting, you'll receive a link that you can share with your friends, your family, your neighbors, and make sure that they can hear all of the wonderful information that you hear tonight at this meeting, and they can share it. I'm going to share my screen. Give me one sec. To just show you the agenda for this evening. We do have a lot to cover, but we will make sure we end on time since we were able to start on time. And I just want to remind you, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. You can see all of the meetings that you missed over the years that we've been doing this virtually. And there's just a lot of good information there. So make sure you subscribe. Any questions about the YouTube channel or the agenda? No? Okay. Well, we like to kick off our meetings by hearing from our two police districts. Oh, so cute. See the baby. We have Officer Keaney here from C11, so I will hand it off to Officer Keaney.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't have a heck of a lot to talk to you about. Basically, it's 3 reports and 1 announcement. Starting on November 7th at 7:30 a.m., officers detectives from the Boston Police Drug Control Unit, the Norwood Police Department, and the DEA in a combined effort had a search warrant, which they conducted at 699 Washington Street. They ended up getting a medium and a large plastic bag of cocaine. I don't have the exact amount, but it was enough to charge people with trafficking. They got almost $3,000 in cash and a Ruger 40 caliber firearm from the Washington Street address. A 20 and 29-year-old from that address was arrested and charged with several felonies. Let's see, November 12th, 9:15 p.m., officers from the Youth Violence Strike Force stopped a motor vehicle that was entering the KFC lot on Washington at Park that had very dark tinted windows, and they knew that the registered owner also had warrants against her. When they went and investigated, in a sock on the front console was a 9mm firearm loaded with 11 rounds in it. 30-year-old female driver was arrested, and she was charged with 4 felonies regarding the firearm, as well as the auto laws that she had warrants on her for. And finally, on November 26th at 4 p.m., we got a call for a found firearm at 69 Brent Street. The homeowner stated that his landscaper, when doing some yard work, found a firearm underneath the front porch. The gun was a 9mm Ruger loaded with 7 rounds with an obliterated serial number. And the announcement that I have is that almost every year we have, for the last 25 years anyways, up until COVID, we had a Christmas party for kids. And the last one we had almost 400, well, a little more, I think it was like 410 kids at the party. We're going to bring back the party again this year, but I'm not going to have 400 kids, okay? Just can't do it. We're going to try and keep it to about 100 or so kids, well-spaced, masked. And so if you know of any families in the C11 area that are having a bad time of it, and this is a Christmas party for kids months old to about 10, 11, 12 years old, have them call C11 for an invitation while they last. Yeah, our number is 617-343-4524. And as always, like we did the last 2 years, any leftover toys or just last 2 years, toys in general, we ended up helping over 80 families. And we'll try and help as many families as we can. Again, we're trying to keep the numbers down. The only reason being is because we don't want it to be a super spreader. Because not only do we have COVID now, but we got this RSV, respiratory virus that's going around, especially in the Boston public schools. I know that because my 5-year-old grandson who lives with me got it 2 weeks ago and had it really bad. So I saw the effects that did, and I don't want to see any other kids get it. So again, if you know of any kids, any families that they have young kids, that if the party itself is on December 16th, please have them contact C11. And I know District 3 usually has one. If you know anyone on the 3 side, on the District 3 side of things, have them contact District 3. But that's what I got for you on the C11 side of things.
Thank you, Officer Keaney. I hope your grandson is doing better.
Much better, thank you. Much better. A couple days in the hospital, but he's doing much better.
Oh, that's so scary. I'm so sorry. Are there any questions for Officer Keaney for the C11 side? No. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
And I'll see you next year.
In person.
Damn right.
Finally.
I've gotten taller. Hope you recognize me.
Can't wait to see it.
All right.
Next up, we'll hear from Officer Harris on the B3 side.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Right, so I pulled the stats for you guys' catchment area, at least for the portion that B3 covers. There were 19 calls for services that generated a police report. There was 1 disorderly conduct, 8 all other offenses, 1 larceny from a building, 1 forgery, 1 intimidation, 1 larceny from a vehicle, 1 simply coded as other, 3 accidents, 1 missing person, and 1 warrant arrest. 1 warrant arrest. I did pull some legacy stats, but I'll go over those stats last. Just want to go over a few individual reports that I have pulled, and I'm also going to touch on something that occurred just outside of your catchment area. About 4:23 on Wednesday, November 9th, officers responded to 332 Talbot Avenue for the report of a student that was jumped by a group of other students. Upon arrival, the officer met the victim along with his father, who stated he was walking home with his 2 younger brothers who were aged 6 and 11 when he was approached by the group. The mother of one of the students started to accuse the victim of hitting her daughter. The victim assured the mom that he did no such thing. The victim and the daughter both attend the Codman Academy School. The victim then stated the mom yelled, "Jump him," at which time 2 young juveniles began to physically assault the victim. Needless to say, the victim reported this to his parents. His father called 911. But what kind of world are we living in when you have parents that are bringing other children to fight other children? Instead of de-escalating things and asking a few questions, the answer was, I know what I'll do. I'll bring some people with me and I'll just have them jump this boy kid in front of his 2 siblings. And the next report that I pulled, this one took place around 3:10 p.m. on Monday, December 5th. Officers responded to a radio call for a person shot located at 12 Helen Street. And this is the one that I'm sure it was just outside of your catchment area, but I would be remiss if I didn't touch on it because it's so close to where you guys live. Prior to arrival, it should be noted officers were notified by the Channel 3 dispatcher of a shot spotter activation of 22 rounds at the aforementioned address. The dispatcher informed responding officers that 2 motor vehicles may have been involved in the incident, the first being a black colored SUV, and the second possibly being a white Lincoln Aviator. So upon arrival, officers observed 1 male located outside of the above address, suffering from 1 apparent gunshot wound to the right leg, as well as a wound to the head. The first victim, whom officers were able to identify. You may have heard it on the news, but I'm not going to mention the 2 victims' names, throughout the course of the report. But officers also located a second male who appeared to be suffering from 1 gunshot wound to the lower back. Officers rendered life-saving first aid by applying a chest seal to the injured area. The second victim also received aid, and both were sent to local hospitals to receive further medical treatment. Now, the area where the 2 individuals were shot, I'll give you the address that we coded it at. It was Talbot Ave and Helen Street. Needless to say, we've had our fair share of issues with a group of young juveniles who live on Helen Street. Not saying that any of it is connected or anything, but what I can tell you is that we've had our fair share of challenges in that area. And the next report, about 8:14 p.m. on Thursday, November 17th, officers responded to a radio call for shots fired in the area of 25 Dunbar Avenue. Long story short, there was an incident that took place in front of the Unity Sports Club. There were a few car accidents as people were fleeing from the scene. What I can tell you is that there was ballistic evidence that was recovered. Obviously, there was some property damage done as well.
Is this child related to it?
And that is still under investigation. No one stepped forward and identified a suspect. However, a 9mm was recovered with 1 round in the magazine, and with 1 round in the chamber and 7 rounds in the magazine. And the firearm did have obliterated serial numbers. So that's all I have for you guys. If anyone has any questions, by all means, please ask away.
Questions for the speakers? Thank you for providing an update on the incident on Talbot Ave. That was in the afternoon in front of a school and a community center. It's pretty scary. But I guess there's no incident at Tech Boston this month?
Well, there was. If you guys have more time,
No.
more reports. Generally, I try to limit it to.
No, I appreciate it. We're just checking in because I know that they've been on all of our monthly reports.
Things are still occurring at Tech Boston. Quick synopsis. There was a student there, was a little upset, was acting a little out of control. He did assault some fellow students and the staff. And when they were able to get him into the office, he did threaten to harm himself. So obviously that was a young man that was in need of services. School police did respond, and I can say unequivocally, they'll do their best to get that young man the services that he needs.
Thank you. We are developing a plan to figure out our approach to hopefully be helpful and supportive of the families at Tech Boston. So that stay tuned for updates for that in the new year. And we're reaching out to the families for the incident on Talbot Ave. So thank you for that update.
Okay, you're welcome. And my partner, she does have a few announcements for you guys as well.
Great.
Hi, everyone. I kind of already put the information in the chat so that people can go back and check. I'll make this quick. We have Shop with a Cop that's happening December 13th. Registration is required, and these are actually being turned in tomorrow morning. I know this is last minute, but we have 5 slots left. B3 was allotted 20 spots, so 15 were filled, 5 left. Somebody from this group already called me and put in a name. Shop with a Cop is when a child is linked up with an officer, they're given a $100 Target gift card, and they go shopping around Target in the South Bay Shopping Center. It's just kind of a nice opportunity to build a relationship between the community and the kids. Secondly, B3 is picking back up with the annual kids Christmas party. That happens at the Mildred. That's going to be on the 16th of this month from 4 to 7:30 p.m. Registration is also required for this. Really quick, Shop with a Cop is ages 5 to 12. The B3 Christmas party is up to the age of 12. You do have to register. I left the phone number in the chat for those who want to register their children for that. There'll be pizza, refreshments, music, and gifts. And that is it.
I do have, let them know I do have one more.
Shawn also has one other thing to say, but if you guys could call us like tonight, even if you want like during the meeting, if you have kids for a Shop with a Cop, that would be great. This one's more pressing just because we have to pass these in tomorrow morning, the latest.
Okay.
Right, as promised, we pulled some legacy stats as well. So this is the part 1 crime year over year by date range stats. So the dates that I pulled was from, I did it for the last week. So it went from November 30th to December 6th. And we'll look at 2021 and of course 2022. Last year there was 1 rape or attempted rape. This year there was 0. Last year there was 0 robberies for this time frame. This year there were 2. Domestic aggravated assaults, there were 3. This year 3 as well. For non-domestic aggravated assaults, last year there were 4. This year 3. Commercial burglaries 1. This year 0. Residential burglaries 3 for last year. This year 0 as well. Larcenies from a motor vehicle, there was 1. This year 3. For other larcenies, last year there was 6. This year 7. And for auto theft, last year 3. This year 2. So for the last 7 days, I know it's not a broad range, but crime is down in B3 by 9%. And across some of the yearly legacy data, crime in B3 is down sometimes as high as 20%. And I also did pull some legacy data on firearms as well. Last year, year to date, there were 753 firearms that were taken off of the streets of Boston. This year, let this one soak in for a few, 832. That is an increase of 10.5%.
Thank you so much for that data. That's helpful for us to think about things big picture. We appreciate it. If there are no other questions for B3, we will move along in the agenda. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, we will see you all next month in person. Stay tuned. Thank you. I'm now going to hand it off to Melissa, one of our board members. She's going to talk about a new feature of our monthly community meetings. Melissa?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I am a member of the board. And we at the board, we've been talking about how much we enjoy these meetings, how great it is to be informed of all of the happenings in Codman Square and our neighborhood. And we want to spend a little bit of time highlighting all of the really great things that happen in the Codman Square neighborhood. And this will be a new segment that we'll continue to do every single meeting that we have. And we'll invite folks on this meeting and in the neighborhood, excuse me, to contribute things that happen, the good things that happen to you in your neighborhood. It could be something small. Nothing is too small for this segment. So it could be, you know, your neighbor who put your trash bins in, or somebody that you pass in the park who says hello. So we really want to highlight the reasons why we love Codman Square so much. And what we'll do is that each month we'll choose one specific one to highlight in this segment. So we're going to start today. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, 1 sec. Let me just make you a
Thank you.
co-host. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to move myself over.
Spotlight on Codman Square.
All right. So this segment is Spotlight on Codman Square and highlighting the good in our community. So again, like I said, we're going to do this every single month. And this month in December, we are highlighting the students at Codman Academy. So as we all know, this was a historic win in Massachusetts this year, and some of our students at Codman Academy were interviewed.
Can you hear it?
Historic moments for this state.
Yes.
Yes.
Number of actually historic moments for this state.
Yes, our Rondella Richardson live from Dorchester with the inspiration it's bringing to young women. Rondella.
Erica, it was back in 2001 when Jane Swift was appointed governor when Paul Cellucci left. So this is a momentous night, election night. And today it was a little hard listening to the young women at Codman Academy talking about how they feel marginalized, sharing some of their family struggles. They seem filled with hope seeing women win.
The first time you have elected a black woman to serve as Attorney General of Massachusetts.
To me, it's like a lot more women have more confidence to do things that they actually want to do instead of being like bashed down.
To every little girl and every young LGBTQ person out there.
To see that the governor is a open and proud lesbian, it brings a lot of representation.
Young women in Massachusetts woke up more empowered.
It makes me feel like, you know, I can literally achieve anything, and I can also have my voice heard.
Along with Massachusetts, women have just been elected governors in New York and Arkansas. 8 other states currently have women serving as the chief executive, and 20 others have been led by women in the past.
She's the top law enforcement officer for the state. She says she wants to address community violence, gun violence, affordable housing. What does that mean to you?
A lot. I've had people in my family who have died from like gun violence. Sorry. It hurts a lot.
Government can and should be responsive to your needs and do it with a sense of integrity, empathy, and urgency.
Most likely, if she's been through it, she can give us a change.
No matter where we came from, what we look like, what we do, what our family does, I just want someone who's able to support us.
You have to appreciate their candor. Coming up live at 6, these young women talk about the new policy that could be coming forward and including reproductive rights. Live in Dorchester, Rondella Richardson, WCBB News Center 5.
Rondella.
Thank you. So these are things that we are hoping to highlight and continue to highlight at all of our meetings. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily be on the evening news. It could be little things that you notice in your neighborhood. We want to just bring all of attention to the reasons why we love living here. So if you have anything that you'd like to contribute, any small stories that you think you'd like to be highlighted at this meeting, you can message the either Cynthia or the council email. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Melissa. That was really great. I appreciate this new feature that's going to be part of the meeting. I think it was born out of some concern that after the 2 police reports, you're feeling kind of down with a lot of the negative things that are happening in Codman Square, when we know that there are far, far more positive things happening in our neighborhood. So it's nice to just, reiterate those positive things and create that balance. So thank you so much, Melissa. Moving along in the agenda, I'm going to hand it off to Vicma to talk about the Hidden Heroes and Sheroes 2022.
Yes, more positive news. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. The Hidden Heroes and Sheroes event was held at the Black Box Theater on November 18th. It was our first in-person event since the start of the pandemic. It was exciting. Our 2022 no longer Hidden Heroes and Sheroes included Nora Baston, Desriana May Clary, Justin and Jamie Chase, Stafford Lewis, and Juwan Skeens. We also recognize the young leaders in our community, Serafina Jean, Sahira Fernandez, and James Massey. Serafina and Sahira, being high school seniors, were presented with the Dr. Reverend Loesch Scholarship of $2,000. This scholarship can be used for college or any technical school of their choice. All of the awardees were presented with citations from government officials and a beautiful crystal award. At the event, we laughed, we even cried when we heard some of the testimonies from people doing great, amazing, beautiful work in our community. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our sponsors, those who donated to the scholarship, those who took out ads in our program, all who attended, including government officials. We couldn't have done this without you, so thank you. Next year, we plan to be back at the Great Hall. We want it to be really big and really special. So we look forward to seeing you all there. It was really a beautiful event. Back to you.
That was such a wonderful summary, Vicma. And I quickly just want to, can you guys see this little collage of photos here? I just want to highlight this photo right here. This is the committee that made it all happen. I mean, we were meeting weekly. We were trying to figure out all the details, making sure we raised all the funds, finalizing the scholarships for the young people. I'm so grateful for this team because this year was amazing, and it was so nice to be in person again. And we had it at the Black Box Theater, and that venue was pretty special too for this event. It made it even more intimate than the event usually is. So thank you to the Hidden Heroes and Sheroes Committee for putting on such a phenomenal event. And thank you, Vicma, for that summary, because that captured it all. Does anyone have any questions about the Hidden Heroes and Sheroes 2022? If you would like to nominate someone for 2023, we accept nominations all through August of next year. I'll put a link in the chat so that you can nominate someone. The whole point of this ceremony is to nominate someone that does really phenomenal work in the community, but does not want to be recognized. Every Hidden Hero Shero that went up to the podium to accept their awards were like, why am I being acknowledged? Why am I being recognized? It's just who I am. It's just what I do. And so that's what makes it so special. Okay, great. No questions?
Hey, Cynthia, one quick question. How soon can we start donating for next year?
That's a good question. Right now, all the time. After my dad's passing, he helped establish this event. We created the scholarship in his name, and so we have an actual scholarship fund. Right now, we were able to raise or increase the scholarship fund to $2,000 for 2 young people. But the larger the fund gets, we can award funds to more young people, additional youth, not just 2. And we can award funds throughout the year, not just in November at Hidden Heroes and Sheroes. So go ahead, donate now. I'll put a link. Somebody put a link in the chat for donating right now on this meeting.
I'll add it right now.
Great. Thank you. Vicma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shawn. Great. Any other questions or comments? Nope. Does anyone want to briefly talk about the Mayor's Enchanted Trolley Tour and the Codman Square tree lighting? There are some photos here. I don't mind talking about it. It was a really special event. It happened last Sunday. Lots of residents came out, lots of families came out. Thank you to everyone that donated, the cider, the eggnog, the coffee, the hot cocoa, the cookies, the baked goods. You can see from the banner here, so many different groups in Codman Square came together to put this event on in the community. And the square was just really brought to life, and we had a wonderful day. It was sunny, it was a little chilly and brisk, but that's okay. It wasn't raining like many of the other tree lightings that we've been seeing across the city. And I really want to give a big thanks to the Bold Teens, because they did ornament decorating, letters to Santa. They really kept the children engaged until Santa arrived, and Mayor Wu arrived with all of her friends. I will say having it on a Sunday doesn't really work for our community. And there were a number of families that were still in church or trying to get to the park from church. And so that was challenging. I'll have to check in with the mayor's office how they're kind of switching it up. Historically, we've always been on Friday, then we asked to be moved to Saturday, and then randomly we were on Sunday this year. So we'll need to have a conversation about that, but still really great turnout, and all the families were really happy. But I know we missed a number of families just because, they were trying to figure out.
Cynthia, I'm hoping this change was because of the the king and the future king and the earth shot stuff. I hope that's all it was. I think it's just threw it off because they were here.
I'm hoping too, because I think we missed you because of church too as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't get there by 12 if I'm still sitting in the pew.
Right. So we'll have a conversation and stay tuned for next month. Hopefully it was that. That's a good point, Rep. Holmes. There was a lot going on. The mayor's been very busy this month. So yeah, hopefully it was those events and those special guests.
Hi guys, Eric James, Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. I'm definitely going to talk to Public Works and figure out why it was moved. I know initially you guys were scheduled for the Friday, and you guys were moved to the Sunday, as well as Mattapan was also moved to the Saturday. So I'll definitely figure out what happened to get back to you guys.
Thanks, Eric. And just so you know, we actually do prefer the Saturday. I know it's unfortunate that we can't see the tree light up, but waiting in the cold on that Friday night is a challenge in itself. So if you do bring it up, we do prefer the Saturday.
All right, I'll definitely let them know that the Saturday is preferred for next year.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate that. And thank you
No
for
problem.
being there and making sure everything went so smoothly.
No problem. Of course. It was a beautiful event. It was an amazing event. I know everybody had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for all the work you guys did to put it together.
Absolutely. Great. Okay, moving along in our agenda, I will now hand it off to our secretary, Lisa Hamblin, to talk about our board elections. It's that time of the year.
It is indeed. Thank you, Cynthia. My name is Lisa Hamblin. I am a affiliate board member. And this evening, we're going to elect our 2023 board for the Codman Square Neighborhood Council. Now, the council is made up of residents and community partners. There are 11, as you can see on the list, there are 11 board members and 11 affiliates. So what I would like to do, if some of the board members are on the call, I'm just going to go through the list, call the names, and if you could just briefly introduce yourself, and then we will vote you in. So you all know Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. Cynthia Loesch-Johnson. I live on Brent Street. I've been active with the Codman Square Neighborhood Council since I was a teenager. I remember even folding the newsletters that needed to go out monthly when I was even younger than that. So the Neighborhood Council has been a part of my life for decades. I've lived in Codman Square for 37 years. I love this neighborhood. I don't plan on moving. And because of that, I need to do everything in my power to make sure that we have a good quality of life here and have the neighborhood that we deserve. I'm raising my 2 children here, and I just can't say enough good things about Codman Square. I've seen all the changes over the years, and I've seen how the Codman Square Neighborhood Council has been instrumental in making sure a lot of those changes happen. So I love this organization, and I really like working with all of you month after month.
Great. Thank you, Cynthia. Amy, is Amy Winter on the call?
Yes, it's very hard to go after Cynthia, but and I'm sorry, I was just finishing my dinner, so hopefully I don't look a mess, but it's so nice to meet you guys. I'm just, so I've been on the board for the last 2.5 years. I moved during COVID. I bought my first home here in Codman Square. And I'm just so thankful to be a part and found this organization. It's been a wonderful way to get to know the community and be fully embraced here in a time when it was really hard to meet people and reestablish myself. So I'm very thankful, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do the great work that you guys do. So thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Amy. Shawn Burgess.
Thanks, Lisa. I've been in the area almost 50 years. Cynthia, it's been really great working with her and the whole board. I'm a local real estate broker in the area, and I love Codman Square. I think Codman Square has such a great potential to become a great place, and I'm trying every day to bring the right businesses and the right opportunities here. I really enjoy everyone on the board, and I appreciate being part of this group.
Great, thank you, Shawn.
You're welcome.
Is Reverend Levy on the call? Okay, I'm going to move on to Christina.
Hello. So I am a part of the Bold Teens, and this is my second year on the board. It was a nice experience last year to feel like an adult kind of, and seeing like the process of making the community better.
Thank you, Christina. Is Marie St. Louis on the phone? Marie? Okay, I'm going to move on to Richard Scott.
How's it going for everyone? My name is Richard. I've been living in the community for about 20 years. I'm born and raised here, so this will be my second year on the board. I also serve as the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market Manager for this year as well as last year, and I'm also the Bold Tees Coordinator. So just excited to be part of this amazing organization, and I would love to continue to do the work in this community. So just excited for what's coming.
Great, thank you, Richard. Melissa?
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I live on Wainwright Street. I've been living in Codman Square for about 6 years and working at the Codman Square Health Center for about 9 years. And I've just enjoyed my time with the board just so much, really seeing the change and having the ability to have a say in the way that in the neighborhood that I live in and that I'm raising my son in. So I'm looking forward to next year with everyone.
Thank you, Melissa. Sakara, you on the call?
Hi, my name is Zakara, and this will be my first time being a board member. I'm excited to see what we're going to do for my community since I lived here all my life. So I'm excited to see the progress that we're going to make.
Nice. Thank you very much. Erica?
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Davis. I am a resident of this area, born and raised, lived in this area for over about 33 years. And I'm excited to be back as a board member.
Thank you, Erica. Vicma?
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Vicma Desir. My family and I moved to Codman Square about 4 years ago. I live here with my husband and 4 children. We're not going anywhere either. I'm honored and grateful to be part of this board, and I'm looking forward to all of the work that we will continue to do in 2023. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Vicma. Now on to the affiliate members. They represent organizations that have a stake in the Codman Square area. So first up, we have Alphonse Knight, who represents Second Church. Not sure if he's on the call. Are you there, Alphonse? Okay, if not, I'm going to move on to Joanna. All right, she might not be on the call. I'm going to move on to Antoine. Okay. I'm going to move on to myself, Lisa Hamblin. I work at the Codman Square Health Center. I've also lived in the Codman Square area since 1993, and I've seen lots of things come and go, and I look forward to seeing more improvements in the square. So thank you. And then I'm going to move on to Marilyn. Is Marilyn on the call?
I'm here. Good evening, everyone. I am Marilyn Foreman, and I am representing the Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corporation. And I've been on the board for, I want to say like 6 or 7 years now, but have been in the Codman Square area for a number of years and watched the transitions from the early 70s right up to now. But being on the board is a pleasure. It's a joy to work with other organizations and community members to help shape the future for Codman Square.
Great, thank you, Marilyn.
you.
Shamara on the call? Okay, if not, I'm going to move on to Shawn. Is Shawn on the call? Okay, going to move next to Shannon. Is Shannon there? Okay, if not, we're going to, oh, did I hear someone?
It's me, Sham. I'm moving back.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shamara, aka DJ Y Sham. I went to school in Codman Square, worked in Codman Square, still be around Codman Square. I won't tell you what keys I have to what building, but I'm around. But yeah, I love being a part of everything that's happening. And this is like one of the most, I feel like, boards or just like communities that actually care about what's going on in the city.
Great, thank you, Shamara. Where were we? Joanne was not there. Shannon. Okay. If not, we'll move on to Jeffrey. I think he's put something in the chat. He's been living in Codman Square for 6 years. He's an affiliate for a few years, and he represents the Friends of Dr. Loesch Family Park. It's been a great experience, and he's looking forward to continuing the work. Okay, and next up is Janice Knight. Are you on the call?
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Janice Knight, the branch librarian at the Codman Square Branch Library. I've been there 20 plus years. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with the board because throughout the years, we have actually worked with you guys. We ask for assistance, help, whatever we need, we can always come to the board. And you've been very, very helpful. And it'd be great to be able to represent the Codman Square Branch Library. And we have a great team of librarians and librarian assistants. And we're trying to do our best. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Janice. And last but not least, Meg Campbell, representing the Codman Academy. Is Meg on the call? If not, I am going to call to make a motion for one of our board members, if they could make a motion to accept the slate of board members presented for 2023. So I just need one board member just to say, I make a motion to accept
I make a motion. Erica, I make a motion.
Great, thank you.
I second.
And I just need someone to second it.
I second.
So that will be recorded. Great. Well, thank you very much. We have a board for 2023.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm
Take care.
super excited to work with this team. It's going to be a really great year next year. Okay, moving along in the agenda. Do I have anyone on from Second Church yet? No? Okay, then we're going to jump around in the agenda just a little bit. We're going to head off to the Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corporation so they can talk about their energy savings program. Let's see who's on. Is Ronack on?
Yep,
Yes,
I'm here.
welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Let me share my screen real fast.
Perfect. Can everyone see that? Okay.
Yep, we see it.
Perfect. So my name is Ronack Sathyanarayana. I am the Environmental Justice Specialist at Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corporation. You may recognize me from last month. Also presenting on the energy efficiency programs that are available to Codman Square residents. I'm also joined by Renee, a member of our Clean Energy Ambassador team. So I can get started. So just to begin with what energy efficiency is, energy efficiency is the process of reducing energy use required to deliver services like heating, cooling, and lighting. And so by saving electricity on these things, you can get the same output that you would usually use electricity like you would normally like, but reduce the usage on your bill and reduce your monthly costs. And so the programs we're going to talk about today are the Solar Access Program, the Home Energy Assessment, and the Utility Bill Checkup. And so I want to start with the Solar Access Program. This program is offered by Resident Energy and is available to any homeowner, regardless of income or credit score. They also differentiate themselves from other solar groups by not having power purchasing agreements that make you buy back the power from your rooftop solar system. And so Resident has a team of installers that'll install the solar panels on your roof for no cost. And after installation, the residents receive, savings through direct on-bill credits, and that's generally about 10 to 30% savings on their monthly energy bills, depending on the roof location and positioning. And so the way this program works is rather than paying a large sum for installation up front or having to buy back the power through that power purchasing agreement, the Solar Access Program operates by leasing your roof. They install the panels for free and you receive 20% of the total production. And that solar power that you receive results in that 10 to 30% savings on your monthly bill. And so just some frequently asked questions, like what are the impact on your roof? The installers of the solar system maintain a roof warranty for the first 10 years where they're liable for any damage to your roof, and any maintenance and upkeep is also covered by Resident Energy for 25 years. And so I'll move on to the home energy assessment. And just also want to put it out there, if you have any questions, I'll also have time at the end to answer any questions, and I'll also put my email on our website if you have anything else to ask. So the home energy assessment is offered by All in Energy and Mass Save and is available to renters and homeowners in single family or multifamily units. And so for renters, the All in Energy team assesses your home for the need for energy saving devices. That can be like water saving fixtures, advanced power strips, LED light bulbs. And then they check your home heating system. And in the end of the assessment, they provide a summary of weatherization potential, or put simply, an assessment for what steps can be taken to reduce your heating and cooling costs through installation. And so for homeowners, they do a similar assessment and they provide a weatherization contract if you're interested in moving forward with some of these installations. And so some things they check for both homeowners and renters are how safe and healthy your heating system are, and carbon monoxide levels in your home, as what the state of air sealing and insulation are, as those can have dramatic impacts in the cold and warm months. And so the energy specialist doing the assessment sees what you need for your home. And kind of like, as I alluded to earlier, if your home could benefit from water saving fixtures, advanced power strips, and programmable thermostats, all of which are provided at no cost. These items can be installed or also mailed later if you choose to do a virtual assessment. Residents may also be eligible for 75 to 100% off on approved installation and weatherization installation, and are also available for up to a $15,000 rebate and 0% financing through the Mass Save Heat Loan Program. I will, this is just essentially what is covered in the home energy report. I just mentioned, forgot to talk about this slide. But yeah, for homeowners and renters, they provide a home energy report with what you can do to save on your energy bill through what you can improve in your house, as well as those things that I mentioned earlier that they can mail or give to you for no cost. So I will pass it off to Renee, one of our clean energy ambassadors, to talk about the utility bill check.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be with you here. Ronack just spoke to us about the solar access and the home energy assessment. Another program available to residents is the free utility bill check that's provided by All In Energy. This program was created to help residents understand their energy bill and see if they're paying more than they should, especially for those using third-party energy suppliers. When the All In Energy team looks at your energy bill, they can assess if there are other programs you qualify as well, if you qualify for them as well, including reduced gas and electric rates and repayment and forgiveness programs. On their online form, which you see here, you can also find this form on our website, the Codman Square Neighborhood Development Corp website. That's linked in the chat. And will be mentioned again later. You can provide information about your energy use. You then receive a customized report of information to help you better understand your bill and actions you can take to reduce your energy costs. A phone consultation can be set up if that's preferred. So they're pretty flexible. The utility bill checkup is offered to all residents, homeowners, or renters for free, and is a tool that can help make sure you're not paying too much on your bill and can help cancel overly expensive third-party energy supplier contracts. So I encourage you to look into that. Do we have any questions?
Thanks, Renee, for presenting on that. I also just want to put out there, I didn't touch on this much, but really important to please check your energy bills. You know, especially if you're on a third-party provider, we really want to make sure residents are getting the best rate available to them, and that is the municipal community choice electricity plan, which also has renewable options and is cheaper than the Eversource base rate. And so if you need help with getting onto the best rate for you, or some of these programs that can lessen the monthly bill, feel free to reach out to me. I'll include my email in the chat. Our website I included in the chat, and I'll attach it again. But definitely feel free to ask me any questions now or through email, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, and can also help you get connected to any of these programs. So yeah, any questions?
I see a comment in the chat from Shawn.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's offered for free. While a lot of residents do, I will put out there, a lot of residents would like full ownership of the solar. You know, it is still just 20% of the total production, which is how they finance the program. That 20% has huge impacts every month. And so definitely, you know, it's free installation. Definitely check it out, especially if you are a homeowner. Or, you know, have a good relationship with your landlord.
Is there a hand raised?
Yeah, thanks, Cynthia. You actually just kind of touched on what I was going to ask about, kind of any negative associated with leasing versus owning the array. It doesn't sound like it's an option, though, to own.
Not yet. We're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, as Renee said, we are looking into other programs where you can have solar ownership. And once we are aware of those programs and our trust those programs, we'll definitely connect residents to those as well. But definitely a good question.
Another question was about what are third-party suppliers?
Yeah, so third-party suppliers are, you know, there are energy suppliers that will reach out often or will solicit and kind of sometimes prey on elderly and non-white folks and non-English speaking folks who will try to get you on these rates that seem good at first, but then their rates will skyrocket during peak months or will skyrocket after a certain contract. And those rates are not cheap at all in the long run. And we definitely want to make sure residents are not on these providers. These will be providers that are not municipally aligned, like they'll have random names like America Energy or Massachusetts Patriot Energy. They will stand out when you look at your provider on your bill, that they don't look like your normal provider. And we've seen a lot of residents of Codman Square who, especially elderly folks, who have not been rolled onto the community choice plan automatically, or they opted out of that. And so that's why we urge people to look at who their provider is and what their rate is.
Can I come in?
Yes.
So I think 2 months ago or so, I brought a copy of my bill and I went through it. So he answered that question correctly, but I think it's easier if you just answer it in a way that if you look at your Eversource bill, there's the top of half of the bill says the suppliers and the cost for your supplier, and the Eversource cost is 17 cents per kilowatt hour, but it names the supplier and it tells you the rate. And then the bottom half of the bill on the right-hand side, you can't change, just the delivery costs. And so what he's saying is that some of us, like I can tell you, I went to Best Buy once and someone says, hey, how about changing your supplier? I did it and I changed it. And for me, I do have solar, so it didn't impact me much. I never really thought about it, but it is go to the supplier part of the bill, look at the supplier and make sure that you did not pick a supplier some years ago that you may have forgotten about in particular, and then don't see the rate of either Eversource or the new rate from Constellation. That's the easiest place to look at it, revenue bill.
Or you could have All In Energy help you. Take your bill to them and they will do the analysis and help you there.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely put it a lot better than I did. Yeah, just definitely urge people to take a look at their bill and, you know, try to take advantage of some of these programs to get acquainted with their bill well. But yeah, oftentimes you'll see these third-party energy suppliers outside of, you know, stores like Best Buy, Walmart. They'll just be out there tabling and, you know, trying to get whoever can sign up to their rates.
Melissa said the link isn't working in the chat.
Oh, my bad. Let me fix that.
And you guys are not losing your mind. We did hear this presentation or something similar to it last month, but at the Neighborhood Council, we care so much about green buildings. And, you know, we had a presentation on Article 37, zero net carbon last month as well. I want us to be having these conversations as much as possible so we can incorporate these efficient practices into all that we do. So it's important that we all be educated together and fully understand it. So thank you for presenting a second time.
I don't know if you just saw that, Cynthia, in the chat too. Very good question. Is this electricity? Yes, we're talking about electricity. And your heating part is what they were talking about when they said go to Mass Save and others for the heating systems. And so that was more the heating part. There should be also somewhere incorporated in one of these presentations about what do people do if they have oil. And they may run out of, like today, literally I was dealing with someone who ran out of oil and their supplier, because they didn't have the good credit or they run up on the bill, who do they call? So I want to just make sure people know, please call ABCD and others to try to get some support that way as well. But All In Energy might have an answer for you around oil as well. Sorry.
Great.
Thank you, Russell.
Any other questions, comments, or thoughts before we move on? No? Thank you both for your time and attention. This information is so important, so valuable, and we really appreciate you taking the time to educate us month after month.
Thanks for having us.
Great.
And happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, happy holidays. When Lisa was announcing the 2023 board, there were a few members that weren't on yet. I do see Marie St. Louis on, and I see Joanne is on. Do either of you just want to say hello to everyone and introduce yourself? Wait, I see Marie and I saw Joanne.
Absolutely. Good evening, Cynthia. Thank you so much to the Common Square Neighborhood Council. I'm truly honored to be a part of the board. Definitely, any way that I can be supportive, let me know. But I truly appreciate Common Square for their support. And I invite you all to come celebrate with us on this Saturday as we have a Christmas pop-up. And I truly thank you all for your support and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Cynthia.
No problem. One of our 2022 hidden heroes, Joanne, you saw him in the photos. So thank you so much. Marie, are you able to present and introduce yourself? Maybe not. Well, she's on. Maybe she'll go in the chat. Okay. Moving along in the agenda, is Jessica on to talk about the RIZE grant and the Codman Square Health Center?
Yes, I am here.
Excellent.
Sorry, I was just stuffing my face.
Yeah, I usually catch people right when they're doing that.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. So I just wanted, this is really just a attempt at transparency. There's not a specific ask at this time, but just wanted to give a heads up that there would be a specific ask come the new year around supporting what we are trying to accomplish here for the Codman Square area. So I'm a psychiatrist at Codman Square. I've been working there for 3 years. And come on camera. Hello. And for the past year and a half, have been working with a group of individuals within the health center and also outside of it to carry out the RIZE grant. RIZE is a philanthropic organization that has focused a lot on opioid use disorder experiences here in Massachusetts. And in 2020, they offered a design grant for organizations to apply to pitch a project to specifically address how racially and ethnically minoritized people in Massachusetts were not being served by existing services. So it's an anti-racism and opioid use disorder grant. Here's just a representation of the mission of the RIZE Foundation, Zero Stigma, Zero Deaths. Their goal is to end the overdose crisis. And again, more recently, a specific focus on this neglected group. So at Codman Square, at the time, myself and Daniel Hogan, who was a former clinician with a lot of community relationships, also with this group, we applied and got a design grant. And then we applied again and got an implementation grant. The design grant was exploratory to see what's possible. The implementation was additional funding to actually carry out the project. There's lots of people that have been involved. There's been lots of people who've come and gone at Codman Square, but I just wanted to represent that there's a lot of people that have contributed to this work within the health center and outside of it. The goal initially was to have some staff-facing, patient-facing, clinic-facing, and community-facing components to the grant. That has shifted over time based on turnover, resources, the pandemic, everything. So we are constantly, dynamically trying to figure out how to be most impactful throughout the different parts of this process. So we've definitely whittled down our focus for the grant as we've lost staff and as priorities have just been kind of all over the place with working at a busy health center, serving a community like Codman Square. But I wanted to just refocus us on what we are about to pivot to in the new year for the remaining 6 months of the grant. So in the design phase, we were thinking about what the literature revealed as opportunities for an anti-racism effort. And what we found is that racism does shape pretty much the spectrum of experiences. So racism can increase the age of first use. Racism can affect how much you're able to access culturally relevant assessments and treatment interventions. Racism can shape your ability once you actually do access care to engage successfully and then be retained in treatment. So we were thinking through along all those different areas, how might we be able to intervene here at Codman Square? So what we did really briefly was we engaged staff, we engaged patients, we strive to engage the clinic and also the surrounding community, though there were some challenges with the loss of staff. But just to recap, what we accomplished thus far is we are looking at the internal ways that we approach offering substance use disorder care. We're working to increase the focus on racial and cultural dynamics amongst the team, which means having very explicit conversations about that, which is countercultural and typically considered to be taboo in medicine. We've also done staff interviews to get a sense of where staff are at, what their needs are, to inform training. So for that, as far as a work in progress right now, staff training will roll out in the spring. We'll also be looking at the policies for our team, and then actually looking at really granular data to see who we're serving and who we're not. I'll say briefly with some preliminary data, it's there's an underrepresentation of non-white patients that are accessing treatment for opiate use disorder. So if you were looking at high blood pressure, about 85% of those receiving services are considered Black or African American. However, with receiving treatment for opiate use disorder, the number drops to about 50%. So there's an overrepresentation of white service users and an underrepresentation of Black service users. Also very minimal representation from those who are non-English speaking, and the list goes on. So really getting that granular data helps us to figure out what kind of shifts we need to make internally and also externally. I'll say one more thing here. One data set that came out recently showed that the 02124 area code, zip code, has the highest absolute number of overdose deaths that actually outranks Mass and Cass. So that's another part of internal and also external efforts, is to highlight the data actually shows this is an area of high need. And that's connected to what the ask will be next year in just a moment. But again, the 02124 area code, or zip code, sorry, has the highest absolute numbers of overdose deaths, which outranks Mass and Cass. And that's very relevant to Codman Square as a health center. With patients, over the past year and a half, we've done some interviews and focus groups. We are continuing to engage with patients, and we also want to engage more with the surrounding community, which I'll talk about in just a moment. What we're working on right now is a report illustrating the findings from those interactions, re-engaging folks who've engaged with us previously, and then also helping to address some of the needs around even understanding how racism shapes experiences of substance use disorders, and also supporting folks in advocating for themselves and their family in the face of racism as they're trying to seek treatment. As far as the clinic, in all healthcare settings, there's stigma against those who have substance use disorders. So we're trying to internally be responsive to the data I just outlined by increasing awareness that our area is one of high need, and also connecting clinicians to existing resources, such as the fact that we have a substance use team that will see patients and that specifically desires to recruit patients who are from the Codman Square neighborhood, and also working to do some advertising within the health center, such as on the TVs that we have, that highlights things like this particular susceptibility to cocaine laced with fentanyl as one of the driving reasons why the overdose deaths are what they are. So just really adding some educational stuff for within the communications within the health center for both providers and also for people who access services there. Finally, in the community, there was a loss of the co-grantee who had longstanding relationships. Unlike myself, I've reconnected with a community-based participatory researcher who's local to Boston. And what we are striving to do now is actually just find out why people are not accessing services here in their own neighborhood for substance use disorders. So is there something we could be doing as far as marketing and outreach? Is there something about the experience of having access services in the health center that's a deterrent? Are there better services elsewhere? And are there places we could be referring people? So the ask is to which will come in January, is to figure out how to best get access to people that can tell us what we need to know, essentially. Our efforts thus far have been difficult with technology, getting people to access Zoom and things of that nature. So what we like to do is just actually go out in the community and just have conversations. That will help us with asset mapping, knowing what's out there, what people are connecting with, and also networking so that we actually have some relationships with the communities surrounding Codman Square. So my last slide is just representing what I just talked about, some of the staff-facing stuff that we're doing, patient-facing stuff that we're doing, clinic-facing stuff, and also community-based. And just to recap, we're trying to get more information about not just people who are currently accessing services, but those who don't. Why aren't people coming? And why is the data so skewed by race and ethnicity currently for those with opioid use disorder? And then finally, how can we get people interested in and feeling welcome to access services again in their own community, because the overdose rates are pretty stark. So that's just a primer introduction to the grant. And if anyone has any suggestions or questions based on what I've disclosed so far, they can reach out to me here. But I'd like to return in January after I've done some more footwork with Craig, the community-based participatory researcher, and other folks as we kind of regroup with lots of recent transitions. So I will stop sharing, and hopefully I didn't take up too much time.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. We know we have a substance use issue in our community, and it's really good to know that our community health center is doing this work. Any questions, comments, or thoughts for Jessica? No? Well, we definitely want to work with you and partner with you. Was that someone?
Share.
Hey.
I'm going to email you. I was just talking to Frank Farrell, who works for like the mayor's office, like the mail advancement office. I had just put in his inbox a couple of weeks ago and saying that we should like try to do something like a campaign or something like that, like in the hood, honestly, just like with music. So I would love to connect. And sorry for his background, like literally background right now.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you. And I would appreciate that. We have a lot of work to do as far as directly connecting with folks that live right around the health center. So this is one example of that. So I would appreciate anyone reaching out who could be helpful in that way. So thank you.
Great. And I see you put your email in the chat, so that's really good. Any other questions, comments, or thoughts? No? Okay. Thank you so much, Jessica. And I'll put you down for the agenda for January. Great. Moving along in the agenda, I guess we'll hear from Second Church next month. I'm sure you all saw that massive tower that's on the church side, right in Codman Square. Pastor Price has assured us that it's temporary. You know that they're doing some major renovations on the steeple. This is all part of that process. So equipment is being updated. So we'll get an update on that and the details regarding that next month. They'll also provide an update on the cemetery. So with that, we'll move along in the agenda. Did Lindsey from Councilor Worrell's office have any updates for us?
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I think my biggest update is tomorrow we're hosting our hearing on gun violence at the Lila Frederick at 5 p.m. And I really wish for you guys to make time and go out there. We really wanted it to be in district to make an opportunity for folks to attend. So the hearing will be from 5 to 8. The administration will be there as panelists, and we do have some advocates that work in the space as well. And there will be an opportunity for public testimony. So if you have time, please be there. I'll be there early. And if you have questions, I did put my email in the chat, and please sign up for our newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. Let's make sure we get out there. Melissa's asking, will there be a virtual option for the hearing tomorrow?
I need to check on central staff. There is going to be a cameraman there that would be live streaming. If not, then they will post the recording on YouTube, but the central staff that records it typically in the chambers will be present at the hearing.
Thank you, Lindsey. Any updates from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services? Eric?
Hi, everybody. I just have one big update for you all. So the update that I have for you all concerns the Mayor's Office of Civic Organizing, their Civic Power Pledge. So they're excited to announce their Civic Power Pledge which encourages Boston residents and businesses to engage with their local government to build a sense of community and address shared concerns and improve the quality of life for all Bostonians. So we're encouraging residents to view a list of civic engagement action items and sign the power pledge by visiting boston.gov/civic-power. I'm going to go ahead and put all of this information in the chat, along with sending it in my events post that I send out with like community updates and stuff like that. So that way you guys are aware of, what you guys can do to engage in the civic power pledge. But outside of that, I definitely want to let you guys know that upon signing the pledge, you guys have the chance to identify issues or issue areas that you'd like to learn more about to be connected with future engagement opportunities, including events, service projects, workshops, and more. Civic Power Pledges will be honored at a celebration in spring 2023. So if you sign the pledge and share on social media using the hashtag BOSS, BOS Civic Pledge, we'll be able to spread the word about it, and we'll be able to make sure that all the residents can get civically engaged. I'm going to go ahead and put that along with my information in the chat. Thank you guys for granting me this space, and I appreciate it.
Excellent. And thank you both for being at the Codman Square tree lighting. We had a really good time. We appreciate all the behind the scenes work that you did to help us pull off such a great event. I see here in the chat that Marie, one of our board members, she's having some audio issues. She said, "Hello, everyone. My name is Marie St. Louis. I've been on the board for 9 years. I have also been the treasurer for about 4 years. I love the Codman Square community, and I'm glad to serve again." So thank you, Marie. Okay, any other presentations from people representing elected officials before I hand it off to Rep. Holmes? Any other? Okay, no. Okay, Rep. Holmes, I'm handing it off to you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to begin with trying our best at this moment to try to save as much money as we can everywhere we can. So I know I put the bill in front of everyone last month. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Go look in your utility bill and look at your supplier. That's what we're talking about. Make sure that you get into your Eversource bill. And I know call All In Energy as well. But the other thing I want to just remind people is you may have gotten one of these. This is your, in one of your little mailers, your property tax information. Just making sure that you, of course, that your residential exemption must be done by April 1st if you bought a house or transferred a house or whatever. But then by February 1st, all of the other exemptions that you could qualify for must be in, such as blind, elderly, surviving spouse with minor children. Just make sure and always you're looking to save as much money as you can off of your tax bill as well. And then I wanted to begin too this month with something the sheriff has pushed me hard on, his team, is that they're hiring over at the Suffolk House of Correction. They've been hiring for a while. They're having a very difficult time finding correction officers. And they want to make sure, or we're going to be doing a press release here in the next week or so, that you go through what you need is to be a U.S. citizen, a high school graduate, 21 years of age, and just pass the academy. And in that first year, you start off somewhere in the neighborhood of between $49,000 and $69,000 a year. That's typical for your time, and if you do overtime and the like. I'm there twice a week. I'm there actually again tomorrow teaching a class. And so he and I have been partnering for years to try to make sure that we get as diverse of a corrections officer team as possible. Next, all of us, over the next, or hopefully now, everyone should have gotten their check. Did everyone get a check from the state in the mail that you may have been surprised by? Yes, no?
Yes.
All right. As I said in multiple meetings, the state, we had more money than we thought we were going to have. The $3 billion at this point should have been distributed. There have been several articles written about the fairness of the $3 billion. What do I mean by that? The fairness is we pay taxes in many ways, not just income taxes, but we pay them in our sales taxes. We pay them for fees and all of the other things that we collect in the Commonwealth. And when this number is decided by, do we send money back to people or not? We've only done it once, and it was the first time since 1987. But when it is decided that, yes, we've collected more revenue than what we anticipated, it only comes back to folks who paid income tax. So the unfairness of that is, hey, you may have, let's say you're a senior and you actually are on a fixed income and you didn't pay any income tax. however, you paid a lot of other taxes or more taxes, you don't participate in this return of your income tax. So we've had a conversation, or we're having conversations about if this happens again in the future, should we distribute this money different? So I'm hoping no one, if you don't know what I'm referring to, then that means you probably didn't have a payment in your income tax last year, or you didn't pay income taxes, or you didn't file your income taxes yet. But I hope many of us, this is just one of those other ways I'm hoping we can pay these higher gas bills, electric bills, even your Christmas bills. Hopefully that check was a welcome surprise. Hopefully it wasn't even a surprise, because I talked to you guys about it multiple times. So hopefully you knew that check was coming. Everyone got them? Everyone's good with the checks in the mail? Cynthia said yes, everyone else. All right. I want to go now to just making sure people knew what happened on the election. I know many of us are happy about what happened last night in Georgia, but what happened for us in November was question one, it passed. So the millionaire's tax, where was much more contentious or much closer than many people thought, even me, it did pass. So those who have an earnings of greater than $1 million, whether it be capital gains or had earned an income greater than $1 million in the individual year, will now pay an additional 4%. That did pass. Question two also passed, which is that we will have something comparable to what we do with our healthcare now with dental, where you have to give at least 83% of your, all the companies have to give at least 83% of their premiums back to all of us as policyholders. Question three did not pass, which is we did not have it so that now we're going to have more liquor licenses in different ways or not. And then the final question was question four in regard to what to do about those who are in the country undocumented, whether or not they're going to be able to have a driver's license. So I hope that's the way folks wanted it to go, but certainly it was the way I wanted to go. So I was very happy. Question one passed, millionaires will pay more. Question two passed, we will have a sense of better payments in our dental and not all the profits going to someone. No more liquor licenses going everywhere, and undocumented are able to get driver's license. So that is going to roll out in in July of next year for the undocumented to be able to get their driver's license. There were some regulations that came out from the RMV that some of us saw and did not, I think, align to some of the spirit of what we said about what you have for identifications, whether or not you're going to be able to get a real ID or not. That's going to get hashed out still over the next couple of months. But if you know folks who are undocumented and want to be able to drive to work or school or wherever they may go, we'll get that hashed out, and hopefully they'll be able to go get their permits and all of the other stuff in advance of July 1st and get their driver's license on July 1st. I've said to the Black and Latino Caucus, we should have an event here literally on July 1st when the first undocumented person gets their driver's license. We should do something as a group. Next, I know Cynthia, I'm running out of time quickly. This here is a map of what the final map of all of the city council districts and redistricting. For those who don't know, there's still been some contention about the city council redistricting map. I'm going to say it to you as quick as I can say it. There are some folks in this map. If you've seen a map like this, it's the map of Boston. So there's some folks in this map who cannot move. What do I mean by they cannot move? If you think about Ricardo, he's down in the southern part of the city. He can't go south, he can't go east, he can't go west. There's only one way he can go, north, right? If you want to move his map. People have overcomplicated, like, what happened? Well, what happened in redistricting is there's awful lot of people who moved over into the waterfront, more than other places in the city, because we all are trying to line up all of the populations, each one of the 9 districts. People made it complicated, but essentially, just think of it this way. If everyone moved to the northeast side of the city, the northeast side of the city rep has to shrink, and everyone else kind of has to move to the line. That's basically what happened. There's a lawsuit that is happening from some folks who said, hey, this map still seems unfair. Mattapan should have been left whole. It was never whole. So how can that be left whole? Doesn't make any sense. I think, we're going to go into an election cycle here. You will have potentially a new counselor. Meet that person. I think most people here are going to still be Brian, but just meet that person, whoever it may be. Finally, Cynthia, there are 70 lots that we began with. The city announced 2 weeks ago, $60 million that we're heading towards home ownership. There are 7 of these lots, many of them all in our community, that we're going to be building on, that are city lots, that we are going to be encouraging people to not have to move to Randolph, Stoughton, Brockton, everywhere else. Please plug into the City of Boston home housing or programs everywhere you can. Go City of Boston, go housing, figure out how you can buy a home, figure out if you can qualify for affordable housing. We want everyone to stay here that can and not move out of the city. I'm done. Have a great one. I'll take any questions. I know I'm probably ran out of time again, as usual.
Any questions for Rev. Holmes? No? Thank you so much for sharing the new home ownership initiative that the city launched. I think that it's really important that we learn more about that initiative because we have so many lots in our community. So stay tuned to hear more about that. And that was a great summary regarding the questions, in case anyone wasn't paying attention. I know a lot of people are happy, so it's nice when things go the way that we hope that they do. If there are no other questions or comments for Rep. Holmes, I'm going to move into announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Richard, are you on still? Do you want to do the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market? I can't see if he's on. Well, if you guys don't know, the Dorchester Winter Farmers Market returns Saturdays, January 14th to March 18th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You have the option to shop in person or online. We'll put more information in the chat, but it's super exciting that we'll still have access to farm fresh food during the winter months. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure that you do so that you can catch up on all the meetings that you've missed and all of the important information that we cover. Any other announcements? No? Okay, we are ending on time. This is wonderful. Congratulations to the 2023 board. I will see you all next month, same time, same place. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
But I wanna be the